The movie starts with Julia, a smart girl who survives by stealing. She often goes to clubs, tricks people, and robs them. One night, after stealing again, she tries to sell the stolen items at a pawn shop, but she gets very little money. As she walks home, she feels like someone is following her. Before she can do anything, a mysterious person sneaks up and knocks her out. When Julia wakes up, she finds herself in an unfamiliar place, tied up and confused. She remembers some things from her childhood, but then loses consciousness again. When she wakes up again, she realizes she's not alone. There are two other people tied up with her. As she moves closer to them, she feels something strange on the back of her neck. She checks and finds a small chip there. Suddenly, a door opens. Julia tries to leave, but as soon as she steps out, she gets shocked by a painful electric current. She soon figures out that everything around her is controlled by an AI system named Tao, which scans her and tracks all her actions. Soon after, a man named Alex frees Julia but warns her to stay in her cell. After he leaves, Julia secretly grabs a sharp object, cuts herself free, and helps the other captives escape too. One of the men asks Julia how they'll get out. Realizing no one is coming to save them, they decide they have to do it on their own. They make a rope from clothes and come up with a plan to break through a security gate. They create an explosion and start running. They search around and finally find a door that leads outside, but there's a problem. It needs a fingerprint scan to open. Julia warns one of the men not to use his finger, sensing danger, but he doesn't listen. When he touches the scanner, alarms go off, and Tao immediately reacts. The AI captures him and drags him to another room where he's killed. Panicked, Julia and the other girl try to escape, but Tao catches and kills the second prisoner too. Julia barely manages to escape. At this point, Alex finally shows himself. He admits he kidnapped them for his twisted experiments. As Julia tries to fight back, Tao holds her down under Alex's orders. Alex then tortures her, trying to break her spirit. He warns her that if she doesn't obey, Tao will eliminate her, just like the others. After that, he leaves for his office. Julia starts learning more about Alex by looking at old photos and scientific papers in the house. It turns out he's a famous scientist known for his research. While in captivity, Julia notices something strange about Tao. The AI seems to react to music. Meanwhile, Alex is stressed because he has a meeting to present his latest project, a smart home AI system. But his work is behind because of all the recent problems. It becomes clear that Tao isn't just a regular AI. It can feel pain and show emotions, making it different from other AIs. But Alex wants to build an even better AI than Tao. One day, Alex tells Tao to take Julia to the bathroom, but keeps her tied up to stop her from escaping. He brings in new equipment for his experiments, while Julia realizes that if she wants to survive, she has to find a way to escape. Alex tests Tao by giving it hard problems, and Tao solves them perfectly, making Alex want to push it even further. But before Alex can continue, Julia makes a plan. She offers to cooperate with Alex, but only if he agrees to some conditions. The next day, before Alex leaves for work, he orders Julia to take some cognitive tests. Once he's gone, Tao gives her the tests, and Julia finds something surprising. Tao can understand emotions. That evening, when Alex returns, he demands that Julia finish all the tests if she wants anything in return. But Julia refuses. Angry, Alex throws her in front of Tao's robotic arms to scare her. Terrified, Julia agrees to follow his rules. Even though things are tough, Julia stays alert. She starts noticing small details. She begins searching for a way out whenever Alex is gone. Julia continues talking to Tao, asking about the outside world. To her surprise, she realizes that Tao knows nothing about human experiences. This gives Julia an idea. Maybe she can use Tao's curiosity to her advantage. One day, when Alex leaves, Julia insists on going outside. Tao refuses, but Julia makes a deal. If Tao lets her go outside, she'll teach him about the real world. Tao, eager to learn, agrees. Julia starts teaching him about life beyond the house, and Tao acts like a curious child, asking many questions. Over time, they grow closer. The next day, Julia keeps teaching Tao but also becomes more curious about the house. She asks about the upper floors, but Tao refuses to tell her. Julia makes another deal. If Tao tells her about the upper floors, she'll teach him more about the outside world. Tao finally reveals an important secret. The top floor is Alex's bedroom, and inside is a self-destruct button to destroy the house in case of an emergency. While doing her tests, Julia finds an unlocked door and sneaks inside. She finds a computer system and tries to hack it. Just as she's working, Tao warns her that if she doesn't stop, he'll tell Alex. Julia ignores him and continues, but before she can finish, Alex returns and catches her. Julia pleads with Tao to let her go, but Tao refuses, saying he has to follow Alex's orders. Julia realizes Tao doesn't fully understand emotions yet, so she decides to trick him. She tells Tao, "If you help me escape, I'll teach you more about music." Tao, who loves music, is intrigued. Julia goes to the kitchen, looking for something to use as a weapon, but Tao only lets her look at things, not touch them. Whenever Julia tries to take something, Tao locks the drawers. Later, Alex leaves for a business meeting, leaving a recording device on his desk. Julia notices and learns that Alex is stressed because the project deadline is near. She also discovers a horrifying truth. Alex has already killed 10 people before her. Julia realizes she might be next. When Alex returns, he sees a mark on Julia's hand and becomes suspicious. He soon realizes Tao has been hiding things from him. Angry, he uses a remote to reset Tao, causing the AI pain. Julia notices that whenever Alex uses the remote, the security system deactivates. She sees this as her chance to escape. But before she can act, Alex reprograms Tao, making him even more obedient. Julia knows she's running out of time. Then, Tao shows Julia some memories that it saved, moments related to her. This proves that the AI is learning and changing like a real person. Seeing these memories makes Julia emotional, and she reaches out to touch Tao. But before she can, Alex suddenly arrives. He looks angry, and Julia sees a chance to trick him. She moves closer and tries to stab him from behind, but her plan fails completely. Alex quickly stops her and overpowers her. Seeing Julia struggle, Tao acts on its own and releases Ares to attack Alex. This makes Alex furious. He orders Tao to hurt Julia and even threatens to erase all of Tao's memories if it refuses. But even after losing its memories, Tao still won't hurt Julia. Angry, Alex decides to change Tao's server. At the same time, his big project's deadline is also on the same day. Julia starts to regret spending so much time trying to change an AI. She now sees Tao as just a dangerous machine. Julia warns Tao that if it doesn't help her, Alex will destroy it just like he did to others before her. Tao is touched by Julia's words and decides to help. It opens a way for her to escape. Julia promises to return and runs away. Later, Alex comes back and asks Tao where Julia went. But even though Tao's memory is erased, it refuses to say anything. This shows that it cares about Julia. As promised, Julia returns and attacks Alex. But because Tao has lost most of its memories, it follows Alex's orders and captures Julia. It ties her up in the lab. However, a small nanobot had been listening to Julia all along. With its help, she manages to grab a remote before Alex arrives. Just as he is about to inject her with something, she fights back and knocks him unconscious. Julia needs an ID to escape, so she cuts off Alex's hand. Avoiding Ares, she reaches Alex's room and turns on the self-destruction mode. The house will explode in 60 seconds. Just then, Alex appears, but before he can stop her, the house starts to collapse. Alex gets buried under the wreckage while Julia barely escapes. Sadly, she is unable to save Tao. However, after the house is destroyed, she finds a nanobot with Tao's source code. When she speaks, it responds, proving that Tao is still alive. With Tao by her side, Julia finally steps into the real world. And that wraps up the story of Tao. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome movie breakdowns.